said I was going to take a couple of days off. I have a lot of stuff ramped up. I have a lot of stuff going. I'm trying to take care of some things. And there's just not enough hours in the day. And since I didn't feel like I was saying anything original, and you can find all of this information with everybody's opinions online, I decided to hang back a little bit. I can get done what I needed to get done. I wasn't just adding to the congestion of YouTube junk, because I want to say something in my messages, want to say something in my videos. I want to bring a certain air of value to this channel. Well, last couple of days, certain things have happened that I feel I need to share with you, and I need to get the message out. This message has to be the most important video and message that I'm sharing in this short-lived channel. Usually on the Sabbath, on Shabbat, I'll do a walk through wisdom. I will read the Bible. I'll say it plainly, exactly what the Bible meant, translating it back to the original to try and clear up any confusion. Things are going to be different today. Even though this is a faith-based message, this isn't just for Christians. This is for patriots. This is for people who put their faith and their love in justice and fairness and equality for all, just as the Constitution says. Now, I'll say a few things to build up to what I'm supposed to say. Here lately, we have had hundreds of thousands of people come across the border and doing it illegally. And once they are here, they're pampered and they're catered to. And as the host, Zach, I believe his name is, of an American Homestead, it's a two-tiered justice system. I kind of believe it's three-tiered, because you have the immigrants and the minorities that get away with everything. You get the citizens and the majority, and it's not even a matter of color, it's a matter of belief and faith and standards. If you go against what the narrative is, and you're a majority, you are oppressed, you're opposed, you are labeled criminals and threats and persons of interest because you believe in doing the right thing. You're not doing anything illegal, but they'll use loopholes to make it illegal. As a man said in his book, the average American citizen commits 3 felonies a day and he doesn't even know it, because there's so many laws. Since there are so many laws, and since they're perfect and wonderful at rhetoric, don't you think they can reword things around just a tad to make whatever you're doing and whatever you believe a criminal act? They're doing it now. People are going to jail for stopping crimes. People are going to jail for protecting themselves. When you have a ton of immigrants coming across the border, flooding us, and some are criminals. I don't even say the majority. I don't know any. They could be nice, wonderful people coming here for a reason. But since they're not stopped, they don't have a background check, they're not questioned about anything, nobody is scrutinizing, they're only taking their word for it and cutting back razor wire and giving them boats and going and getting buses and busing them up here and bringing them right in. Nobody bothers to think what their motives might be. And they could be criminals, they could be traffickers, they could be drug dealers, they could be whoever. And it does not matter. They could be carrying disease upon disease upon disease that are highly contagious, and it doesn't matter. And then once they get here, they're skirting the main law. The only reason that they're on this soil is because people overlook the law. That's it. They should be stopped right at the border. I say, how do you let all those people in and stuff like that? When somebody goes into an area that's restricted, say a base, anything doing military, if somebody leaves when an officer detains them, what happens to them? There was an idiot that crashed a U-Haul into one of the blockades next to Pennsylvania Avenue. What happened to him? Dude, breaking the law, went into FBI building, did stupid stuff. What happened to him? Well, they broke the law. They entered a restricted space. They weren't allowed to do it, and they were taken care of. Immigrants are coming into a restricted space illegally. They're not authorized to do it. Take care of them. Period. That'll stop the majority. You get 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 that are breaking the law, and they're held under the same law that the citizens of this nation are held by, and they're treated the same exact way. They see it, they turn around, and they do it the right way if they really want to come in. That's what I'm saying. Once they are here, you treat them just like you treat the American citizens. They break the law, they pay a consequence. Period. You don't look the other way. You do not. It's crap, and people are tired of it, and they're done with it. Period. 100%. Now I say that because there's a family named the Romica family. They came here for the same reason that all the other pilgrims came over here, so we're told, for religious freedom. In Germany, where they are from, it is next to impossible to homeschool your children. You see, their oldest children went to school. They saw them changing. Their personalities became different. They started to rebel a tad bit more. And the beliefs that were instilled in them when they were children, the religious beliefs that this family held so dear and so tightly, were going away under manipulation and peer pressure of the public school system. See, it's about illegal in Germany, like I said, to homeschool. Even if you go to a Christian school, a Jewish school, any religious school, public school, private school, charter school, it has to be a public school. And it's for a reason. Public schools are trash, and it's the #1 way to indoctrinate your children and to brainwash them, to wipe their memories completely clear of the family values that are instilled in them. The public school is trash. It wasn't meant to teach your kids anything. It was meant to keep them stupid. It was meant to train them like Pavlov's dog. Ring a bell, you sit down. You pay attention, you be quiet, you shut up, and you let an authority tell you what to think and tell you how to answer the questions that they had. Ring a bell, you go eat. Ring a bell, you sit back down. Ring a bell, you go home. Once you do go home, you still have that indoctrination because you have to do the written tests, and you get graded on your ability to memorize what you're told and to regurgitate what you're told. There's no independent thought. There's no free speech. I can't stand public school, period. It's evil, it's wicked, and it was made for a reason. These people know this, so they wanted to flee religious persecution. See, they kept their children home anyway. They did the Christian thing. They said, no, I will not let this world have my children. I will raise my children the way that God told me to raise my children. They got fined, and fined heavily. They got their kids taken away from them and forced into the public school, and they were facing getting their children taken away from them permanently. They were being persecuted because of their religious beliefs. So they came to the land of religious freedom. They came to the land that was founded because of religious freedom, thinking that they would be safe, that they would be able to worship, and they would be able to do as God commanded without their family being broken up. Well, after this story came out, and after they spent everything they had paying off the fines over in Germany, Obama, yeah, it was very that wanted to send his butt back in his Department of Justice. But people like Glenn Beck stood up. People like my former governor and a good man, Mike Huckabee, stood up. They had a call. They lent their voice and their platform. So these people were granted indeterminate deferred status. So they were legally able to be here. Well, now, in the midst of all of these illegal aliens coming to the border, and Pedo Pete bending right over just like his predecessor loved to do, his mentor, his boss, his best friend, and his butt buddy loved to do, just bend right over and get it. Pedo Pete, that piece of crap, that piece of trash, who has trampled on every single right that Americans have, especially religious freedom. His Department of Justice, the corrupt trash that's doing all of this junk, sending them back for no reason. They just don't want them here anymore. They still have 2 young kids that they're homeschooling that are American citizens that don't have German citizenship status. They have American, but they have to go back to a land that they have not been in 15 years, 18 years, something like that. They have nowhere to go. They have no money saved up in there. They have no housing. They have no anything. 2 of the children are married to American citizens. 1 child just had a baby. That family's going to be broke up. The grandparents will never be able to see the grandchildren, never be able to see those children again. The younger children, it's a big mess. Where are they going to go? Who's going to raise them? Is it going to be like the Dreamers, and it's going to be like the people that Biden and the Democrat pieces of trash were using as an example? Oh, Trump is ripping people away from their kids, and he's breaking up families, and the kids that are American citizens still stay here, but the parents go back and the kids are all alone. They're doing this exact same thing to a person, to a family who did it legally, who came for a good reason, who has jobs, they pay taxes, they're productive members of society, they love this country, they want to help because they appreciate that they were accepted into this country, and now they're being forced to go back for no reason. Didn't commit a crime like 90% of the aliens coming in now have done. 100% of them have done by crossing over the border illegally. Most aren't seeking asylum, and they're giving an app. So now they request asylum before they even come across. So when they come across the border, thanks to Biden, they're not doing anything illegal. Elon Musk is being sued by the Department of Justice, or whatever piece of junk agency that corruptly wants to attack people for no reason except to line their pocket and do wickedness. He's being sued because he doesn't hire illegal aliens and asylum seekers to work on SpaceX. Well, there's a law about foreigners and about illegal aliens, non-citizens, non-green card holders working in that type of facility with that platform. A weapons trafficking law, to where if he did hire them, he would have went to jail. But now that he doesn't hire them, and they shouldn't even be here to get a job in the first place, he's getting sued over it. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a 2-tier system, and it's done. It's bullshit. I'm completely over it. Completely. Now, 63% of Americans, I don't even want to say the words. I don't want to say that they consider themselves, because that goes in with the LGBT fucking Q agenda. They say they're Christian. I'm not going to say identify. I'm not going to say all of those little keywords that just trigger the junk. The mind manipulation and the word manipulation that gets all of this trash and nastiness and wickedness and evil moved into mainstream. Don't want to say that. So I won't say identified. I will say they consider themselves Christian. 63%. Now 41% actively go to a church. Less than half. But I'll say a fraction of either of those are actual Christian. I will say that if there was a fraction of real Christians, and I'm talking to all of you now, gauge yourself against this. If you do not do this, you're not a real Christian. You're not living to the Bible, and you're not living your faith from the Lord. Because if you do not back this family up, if you do not make your voice heard, if you do not go, I can't remember the name of the website, I'll post it down in the description. I think it's HSDLA or HSLDA or something. It's Homeschool Law Defense Association or something like that, that's fighting to get them to stay. If you don't send emails to people who have a conservative voice, like bringing Glenn Beck back into this, like bringing Governor Huckabee back into this, like people who are standing up to make this administration, the cowardly pieces of trash, do the right thing. If you're not spreading this message, if you're not sharing this message, then you are not living the life of a Christian. And you are among the 63% who placate and say they are, because it's the cool thing to do. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. And God tells us to be warriors for Christ. Now, I'm not advocating you do anything stupid, because warriors don't always use violence. Warriors stand up for the right thing. And if you are such a big Billy badass, and you're living out all these hypothetical scenarios, playing it in your head that you're going to go out in a blaze of glory, and that you're just going to stand up and you're going to put a stop to all of this, and you're going to do stuff like that, and you don't at least go and sign the petition to put your name down saying, I will stand with this family. If you don't even want to bother doing that, you're LARPing. You're playing a game. You're fantasizing. You're in your mom's basement, overweight, while she wipes your butt like a South Park show, and you're playing video games. That's it. You don't have trust in the Lord. You don't have faith in the Lord. You don't live out the Bible. Because in a minute, I will read off verse upon verse upon verse upon verse that talks about standing up for justice, living out justice, helping people in need, helping the poor, helping the needy. This family is needy. By God, they need some help from their brothers and their sisters, which is us. We need to do something. This administration lets illegal criminals in. We lose our jobs, we lose our food, we lose our privacy, we lose our security, because the more that are coming over, if they'll break the law by coming over illegally, then they'll break the law once they get here. Period. You give me the most simple, wholesome person, they're still committing a crime. They know they're not supposed to be here under the conditions that they came here, and they did it anyway. That means they have the mentality that I'm going to do what I need to do by any means necessary, and I don't care if I become a criminal to do it. These people are doing that, and you have to admire most of them for doing that, because all of these laws and the rules and the regulations and the horse crap that we're bending over and taking on a daily basis, while they bring more restrictions, more orders, more laws to oppress and oppress and oppress and to stifle and to dwarf and to stunt an American citizen. Our government doing that. If these people are saying, nope, not going to listen to it, I'm going to come over and I'm going to do what's right for my family, how much more should the people that live here? How much more should the people that deserve those rights say no, to hell with you? If you do not want to put your name down, if you do not want to make your voice heard, if you do not want to stand up and say, now is the time that I get to practice everything that I've been preaching about love, and about standing up for justice, and about mercy, and about doing the Lord's will, now is this time. And if you don't want to do it, forget everything you're talked about. Because everything that you believe, everything that you preach, everything that you think, and your entire daily walk is a lie. You should have no respect in yourself, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Period. If you call yourself a Christian, back this family up. Go to that website, sign the petition, make your voice heard, share it on your social media platforms. If you don't get on a social media platform, get on one just for this and then cancel it. Tell your family members, tell your friends. If you're from the old school, make a whole bunch of flyers and post it up. This is not right. Support the Remaika family. Because if we can be inundated with millions of people that's illegally here, then this one family who has a life established here already and are helping us, they have every right in the world to be here. I'm sorry for coarse language, especially on the Sabbath, but this is something that needs to be done. Because when is enough enough? When is it? I hear so many people saying, I'm at my wit's end. I'm done. I'm just waiting for this to break. I want it to go one way or the other. Then I had all of these whole, Billy Badass, Conan the Barbarian people in their own mind saying, yeah, I want it to break now so I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. But if you're not even willing to stand up for one family because you fear being persecuted, you fear the law looking at you and saying, oh, he signed that petition, we need to look at that guy. If you're worried about that, I don't want to hear another word from you. I just don't. You just made yourself out to be a liar, and I have no respect for liars. Liars should be put in jail, and they're criminals just like everybody else. But I want to throw off a few things. But now, as for what is inside you, be generous to the poor, and everything will be clean for you. Luke 11:41. 2 Thessalonians 2:13. And as for you, brothers and sisters, never tire over doing what is good. Sticking up for that family is good. Hebrews 13, verses 1 and 2. Keep on loving one another as brothers and sisters. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers. They came here, they were strangers. We accepted them. Now, the lead of our nation, the government, that is supposed to be the epitome of morals and righteousness and justice and hospitality, are kicking these strangers out of what now is their home for no good reason. They're going against the Bible. And anybody that goes against the Bible, anybody that goes against justice, what's right and truth, should be confronted. I don't give a damn if it's the lowliest person on the street corner or the president of the flippin' United States himself. He needs to be called out. Period. Stop listening. Deuteronomy 16:20. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you. He gave us this land, and this land, supposedly, was built on justice for justice' sake. All men are created equal. One will not be treated differently from the other. That is justice. When something is done to you that is wrong, it will be recompensed, and you will be done right, no matter who you are, man, woman, adult, child, whatever color. Because you are treated right, and that is the right thing to do. That does not exist in this country anymore. Law and justice are two different things. Justice now is in our hands because it's not being done by our representatives. They're doing what's good for them. Their law enforcement protects them and protects the business owner and protects money. And if you ask most of the law enforcement, when they look at us, when they look at the citizens who they vowed to serve and protect, who pays their bills, and who allows them to do their thing, when they look at us, they look at every single one of us as lesser than them and a potential criminal. That is not an exaggeration. That is not my opinion. I know many law enforcement officers, all of them say the same thing. Now, most of them don't look down on the little people. But they will tell you, and they can name off a lot that's in their office, in their department. They'll tell you that the general consensus of most of the people that they serve with is that we are an annoyance. We are the criminal. They look for the wrong things that we're doing. They don't listen to us. Now, I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying most. But they will slurp the starfish of the person that pays their check. And if the person of their check tells them to do a double team with their buddies, their golf pals, their lobbyists, the contributors to their re-election fund, that's what the police will do. Job 5:15 and 16. He saves the needy from the sword in their mouth. He saves them from the clutches of the powerful. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts its mouth. Injustice is running rampant because this country is wicked. Injustice is doing and saying whatever they want. Now, as warriors of Christ, we need to stand up for what is right and what is just and not be scared of the consequences. Pick a hill and defend it. Psalm 50, verse 6. And the heavens proclaim his righteousness, for he is a God of justice. If this country right now is so unjust and it stands for injustice that all the nations in the world hate us with a passion, can he be called our God? If our God is a God of justice, this country is anything but. So this country does not have our God is their God, which means it's a war, and it's a battle, and it's us against them. We are supposed to walk in the ways of righteousness. Proverbs 31, verse 9. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. This family is poor and needy. Isaiah 58, 6 through 7. Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry, to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood. Micah 6:8. He has told you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Do I need to go on? There's a whole bunch. I mean, a lot. I'll tell you what, I'll go on just a little bit. Okay? Zechariah 7, 9 and 10. This is what the Lord Almighty said. Administer true justice. Show mercy and compassion to one another. Do not oppress the widow or the fatherless, the foreigner or the poor. Now, I've said, immigration, people coming over the border, does not bother me at all. Bring more of them over, because this was a nation that was founded for immigrants. But they need to do it the legal way. And if they're not held to do it the legal way, then the citizens that are already here shouldn't be expected to hold any of the law, period. Because if you can treat illegal aliens better than you can treat your own citizens, then the country is lost. It is terrible. It is bad. And for as long as they're letting illegal aliens come across, and they're turning their head, and they're arresting the people that are doing right and doing legal, I don't give a damn what anybody says. I will live my life the way God tells me to live my life. And if that breaks a law, and that breaks a law of the people that made that law, I don't care. Don't give a shit. It does not matter to me, because I'm willing to stand on that hill. Am I going to win? No. No, I'm not. Maybe I'll be a martyr, possibly. But Some things stick in a man's craw. There's a movie called Open Range that always stuck with me. Some things are worse than death to a man. Some things just gnaw at a man. And there are some things that you should be willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for. This is one of mine. I will live free. I will live doing how I see fit, because I take my law from God. Now granted, 99.9% of the laws that are going on out there are God's laws. But a whole bunch of horse crap like wearing a face diaper that they bring for a mandate and an order, you can kiss my ass with that stuff. Period. Will not do it. Oh, I need to get something shot into my arm? Nope, not going to do it. Just will not happen. Oh, you want to take my grandkids, you want to do something like that? Be prepared for a battle. Period. I'm not going to win, but I'm going to break you of the habit. You're going to think twice before you do it to somebody else. That's what I'm willing to do. I've already signed the petition. I'm backing up. I'm sending emails to conservative content creators. I'm doing this. Thank an American Homestead. And he made a call. He said, if you're a content creator, you're watching this and you're watching me, please do me a favor and share it. And that's what I'm asking you to do. It does not matter if you're a content creator. If you have any of the social media platforms, if you can send and share a link with your address book, start a group text and send that link and get it out to people. Make our voices heard so we rally behind this family who deserves to be here, who are just like the original people that came here. They fled from religious persecution. They fled from indoctrination and heavy fines and jail time and getting their kids taken away, to come here where they could be free and they could worship their God as they saw. That's why this family did it. They are the original, they are the OG founders of this country under the same spirit, and now they want to get kicked out. While there's tens of thousands of people a day coming across the border. These people are going to get kicked out when they're proven, when they have done the right thing. They're going to be separated from their family. We need to stand behind them. Please stand with me. If you're a Christian, this is your call. If you're not a Christian, but you're a patriot, and you stand up for truth and justice for everyone, not just for citizens, not just picking and choosing. All right, if you're mad because all these illegals are coming over, committing crimes to be here, but you're like me, and you don't mind illegals being here if they live under the laws that we live under, if they're expected to respect those laws and to live them out, and to be a productive citizen and member of this nation. If they can do that, they're more than welcome. If you're like me when you believe that, this family has already proven themselves. I said it was going to be different. Please do me a favor and do this. Go to the website, sign the petition, share with your friends. If you don't believe in this stuff, I'm pretty sure you know somebody that does. And maybe they're going to be big enough of a person to help stand up, to fight for the rights of this family, and to stop injustice and wickedness, including the White House and the Department of Justice, in their tracks. This isn't a call to any stupidity. This isn't a dog whistle to any stupidity. If you do anything that could be a semblance of physicality, then you're a retard and you took what I had to say completely out of context. But you have a voice. Sit-ins were huge with the hippies in the 60s. They made a point. All of these Democrats that have been doing the sit-ins and everything, and all the liberals, all the hipsters out there, they've been moving things the right way. When are we going to? 63% of Americans are Christians, my eye. 41% go to an active church, my eye. Just because they go to a church doesn't mean they're a Christian. Just because they say they are doesn't mean they are. You want to prove me wrong? Get every single one of those 63% behind this family. Let them stay in their home. Let them stay with their family. Let them stay a productive member of society. So at least that family, who didn't even originate here, are standing up for American values. That's how we get it back. God willing, we'll talk to you sometime.